Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft, and today we're going to continue with the 10C series, and today is all about cordage. So stay tuned. Alright, so when it comes to cordage is one of those things that I feel is really overlooked, and it's a very important piece of kit. Now, what makes it so important is the fact that it is so versatile. Like, you can use it for first aid, you can use it to sling your arm, you can wrap your arm up if you injure your arm. If you hurt your leg, you can take two branches and use the rope or your cordage to make a sling or some kind of a brace for your leg or your arm or your finger. You can use it to build shelter. You can use it to make a teepee or a tripod for cooking. You can use it for, if your backpack breaks, you can use it to repair your backpack and make a new shoulder strap. If there's something heavy, if there's like a large piece of oak or something that you want to bring back to camp and burn, you can wrap it up and haul it over your shoulders with your cordage. There's so many things that you can do with cordage. Your imagination really is the only limitation to what this can do for you. And so it should always be with you, because it's one of them things where if you have it, you probably will think of a reason to use it. You know what I mean? Because it's just so versatile. There's just so many different things you can use cordage for. And, hanging a bear bag, or getting something out of reach, or tying a rock to the end. If there's like some deadfall out of reach, you can tie a rock to the end and throw it, and then you're not constantly going and trying to find the rock. You can throw it and then reel it in, throw it and reel it in. You can take the inner strands out of the paracord to make fishing line, and you can go fishing with it. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with cordage. And with that being said, there's so many different kinds of cordage. The kind of cordage that I usually carry is 550 cord paracord, and I carry true paracord, so it's rated, the tensile strength is 550 pounds. It's got 7 inner strands, and so like this is 100 yards of 550 cord, and so I have 700 yards of this inner material that I can tie together and have 700 yards of this material. And that doesn't include the outer shell. I can use the outer casing as well. Also, there's survival cord, and so this has the 7 inner strands, plus it has monofilament line, which is fishing line, plus it has copper snare wire in it that you can use for trapping. So this is a lot more versatile than just your standard paracord. And so I like to carry paracord. You've all seen my camouflage paracord in other videos, but paracord is my cordage of choice. Another thing people like to carry is jute twine, and one of the reasons they like to carry jute twine is not only is it cordage, but you can also turn this into a tinder bundle. And so if you are making a friction fire, a hand drill or a bow drill, or using flint and steel, and you're getting an ember instead of a spark or a flame, if you're using an ember, you can turn this into a bird's nest and blow it into flame. And so it's just a kind of a surefire method, but I always carry Surefire with me. I always have either wet fire or live fire or birch bark or fat wood, or I always have Surefire with me. And so I carry paracord. Another common option is tar bank line. A lot of people like to carry bank line. I don't choose bank line because it's very thin. A lot of people like to carry it because like my last shit, it's very thin in diameter, but it still has a high tensile strength, just like my last shit. And so you can carry a lot more of it in a lot smaller package. But the reason I don't like carrying it is because the thin diameter, I think it cuts in to trees and it likes to cut in, which is why I have lash it, because it cuts into my paracord. So when I'm making like a prusik knot, I like how it cuts into the paracord. It doesn't actually cut into it, but it really bites. It has a lot of bite, and that's why I use it as a ridge line in my hammock too, because it bites in and it really holds, so I can get a nice tight bite into everything. And so having that thinner diameter is also really nice, but I don't carry it all the time. But talking about cutting into trees, it's also nice to have some kind of a webbing that you can use. And so here I have my camouflage webbing, and this I use for tree straps. I have separate tree straps for my hammock that are made out of this same camouflage webbing. And this webbing, you should always use 1-inch webbing on your hammock so that it doesn't cut into the trees and that it doesn't damage them. And so webbing, this would be even better if you're worried about your backpack failing or some of your equipment failing. This would be a better option. If I had to choose between bank line or zing it over my shoulder or this webbing over my shoulder as a repair method on my backpack, I would choose this webbing, right? Even the paracord, I would choose the webbing over the paracord to have something strapped over my shoulder. So there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of different knots. There's a lot of different things that are involved with cordage. And it's all just a matter of learning your techniques, learning what you prefer. This right here is zombie cord. So not only is it high visibility colors, but it also glows in the dark. And so if I'm guying out a tent or something in a high populated area, it keeps people from tripping over my tent or my tarp, even at night, because it glows in the dark. So everybody can see where my guy lines are or where my ridge line is, so that people aren't getting clotheslined with my cordage. And so there's a lot of versatility with different kinds of cordage. And so there's a lot of homework you need to do before investing in cordage. But there's so many benefits to it. A lot of people, I think, just so I'm not going to use it. And then something happens and they have to improvise with what they have. Where if they had cordage, making that sling would be a lot easier. Making that brace would be a lot easier. Making that shelter would be a lot easier. Making that tripod to cook something, just lashing 3 poles together would be a lot easier. If you're worried about bears, throwing a bag of food over a tree branch would be a lot easier. I mean, the list can go on and on and on of what you can do with cordage. So make sure to leave your knowledge and your questions in that comment section. What is the most common thing you use your cordage for? Let's see how big of a list of things we can get. I bet you we could make an endless list of things that people use cordage for. Let's see all the most unique ideas. Let's see what you have used. All of your great ideas, leave them in the comment section. And then make sure to like and share these videos so that those ideas get shared with the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say on the next one. Thanks, guys.